5 important lessons that I've learned from my first week of fatherhood. I want to make it clear that these numbered lessons are not in order of importance, so don't rank them as such. The first lesson that I've learned is you are not in control of pretty much everything, so you need to learn to embrace it. If we're talking about our story, it went from 0 to 180 really quick. So my wife was having contractions here on my couch and we thought we were in the clear for a couple hours, but within a few minutes of talking with our doula, we found out that it was time to go to the hospital. This kind of took me off guard and I ended up forgetting a couple things at home. I didn't bring the amount of food that I needed to bring. And in my mind, it created a little bit of stress. So when we get to the hospital, we then thought that we're gonna be let into our room within a short time frame, but the reality was we ended up in triage and we didn't really know what was going on throughout this process. So the one thing that I could control was how am I showing up for my wife and the energy that I'm giving her. And then 2, I realized that I can push the needle a little bit and be a little bit more assertive and reaching out to the nurses that were there and asking what was going on and when the next part of the process was going to happen. If you're going through this process yourself, you don't have to just think of this concept when your wife is pregnant or giving birth. In all areas of life, you can control how you're showing up for somebody else, and you can always be the person that reaches out, asks the questions to try and understand what is going on in any given moment. Flash forward a little bit to her in the room, and we're getting prepared for her to go into labor. We thought that it was going to be a couple hour process. It actually turned out to be more than a day. So in those different moments, we learned that when the different information is being thrown at you, it's best to take a deep breath and understand what is actually going on before you make a split-second reaction. So instead of just reacting to what is going on, you want to have a response. And I believe that Erin and I did a wonderful job in every given moment, really just taking a collective minute or two and understanding how she wanted to go about giving birth to our son. So the more that you focus your energy on the here and the now and what can I do right now, rather than, oh my God, I forgot this, or I didn't do this, or I did do that, and I'm not proud of it. None of that matters. The only thing that truly matters is right now in this moment, what can you do to embrace what's going on and take one step forward and make a decision right now that's going to improve the next moment that's going to happen. We ended up giving birth, and then you're thrown into more unknown where you have no idea how long you're gonna end up staying in the hospital. You're worried the first couple of nights with your child, like, is their temperature okay? Are they gonna be able to eat? Are they healthy? Are they happy? And all this is going through your mind. You're not in control of it. And this can be very hard, especially for new parents. But again, something that Erin and I have done really well as a team is just looking at ourselves in the mirror and understanding what can we control, what can we do, and it's our attitude and our effort. And our son is going to feel that. So as we were preparing to bring him home, the variables that we were looking to make sure that we had checked off: what type of home is he gonna come into? What type of energy is he gonna feel when he comes into our home? And what are the different tools and technologies that we can use to help provide the best experience possible for a newborn? Outside of that, nothing is in our control, and we've learned to embrace all the little moments that create road bumps along the way, because over our lifetime, typically those road bumps and conquering those road bumps are the best parts of the story. The second thing that I realized is that I can no longer half-ass it. In certain times of the day, I can be lackadaisical, and I'm sure that you can relate to that. There's little moments throughout your day where you're not really giving your best effort, or you may even find yourself complaining in your mind of certain things that are going on around you. With my son being born and realizing that in every given moment throughout the day is an opportunity for him to learn, grow, and adapt based on how my wife and I are showing up, I started realizing that I can no longer afford to half-ass it in any of those moments. So any time throughout the day, I need to be intentional with how I'm spending my time and show up in a way where I'm giving my 150% effort, because he's gonna feel that. When children are young, they can't necessarily understand what we're saying to them or really understand what we're doing, but they do understand how we make them feel. And a lot of me making him feel the best that he can possibly feel is me showing up in a way where I'm giving my all in every single moment. You don't need a child for this though. You can apply it to everything and everyone in your life. People understand the effort that you're putting in or the effort that you're not putting in. So if you can reflect on your own life and those little moments of time where you feel like you're not really giving it your best shot, start to show up as a better you, and you're gonna see better results in your life. The third thing for me, which is a big realization that I think everyone needs to make, is the people around you are your reflection. So my son is going to be a reflection of my wife and I. You've probably heard that before. Children are reflections of their parents. But for me, the big realization is whoever I'm surrounding myself with is a reflection of me, and that's gonna then be put on my son. I don't have time to waste, so don't waste my time. I wanna be around people that are uplifting, positive, and optimistic, that are just as much pouring into me as they are into the community around them, and therefore I'm gonna be filled up and pouring more into my son. I don't think a lot of people do a good enough job of vetting the people around them and the environments that they're in, and therefore they then transcend that energy and those environments onto the next generation, and that's not something that I want to do. So I'm very grateful that here in Austin, Texas, there's a lot of wonderful, ambitious, motivated, high energy people around me that I am then going to be able to bring that energy and give my all to my son. And I'll end that with the saying, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So to give my son the brightest future possible, I have to make sure that my friends and family are held to a standard at which I believe is going to improve my life and my kid's life. The fourth thing that I recognized is that love is something that you do, it's not something that you say. I cannot quiet my baby's crying by what I say to him. He has no idea how to interpret what I'm saying. But if I hold him and I cuddle with him and I smile and I bring that good energy, I can certainly make him feel better. So the learning lesson here is that love is an action, it's not just a word. So I'm sure there's people out there that you can think of that you haven't showed up for recently or in the past, even though you say you love them and maybe they say that they love you back. Is that love really fulfilling to you? Do you really feel like you're putting as much energy and effort into that relationship as you should be? Love is a verb, it's an action. So for those people that you feel like you haven't necessarily given that energy to, take note and then show up as a better you for them, and it's gonna lead to a better relationship and a better life overall. Last but not least, forgiveness is fruitful. What I mean by this is the more forgiving you are, the more fruit you're going to bear in life, the better your life is going to be. Within the first week of being a parent, I've been pooped on, peed on, and puked on, sometimes all three at one time. And to add to that, sometimes it's been at 3 a.m. when I'm running on 0 hours of sleep, and I'm doing my best not to get frustrated and upset with the current situation. The reality of what I just told you is that it would be really ignorant of me to get frustrated and angry at a baby when the baby is just doing what the baby's meant to do. What I think happens in life though is we go from babies to young children to adults, and we set these standards for other people and these lofty expectations of them, sometimes not even having that lofty expectation of ourselves, and then we hold a grudge against them when they don't meet the expectation that we think that they should be living up to. The question I've been asking myself is, why can't I just find forgiveness in that person? Why can't I just accept them for who they are and just forgive them like the baby? We're not always gonna show up as our best selves, and that's okay. We are human. And if I'm setting these unattainable expectations on other people, not only setting a bad example for my son, but I'm creating too much stress in my own life where I'm not gonna be able to build the best relationships I possibly can. So the reframe that I'm working with here is just seeing the inner child in everybody else and forgiving them like I would forgive the baby. And in any given moment, asking myself, what would I really get out of being frustrated or angry in this moment, and only controlling what I can control. So I don't necessarily have to be the guy that helps the person that's crying as if they were a baby in need, but I do want to do my part in forgiving them and showing up in my life as more grateful and gracious as I continue this journey into parenthood. While the lessons have been amazing over the first week, I'm just feeling so overjoyed and fulfilled of the experience of being a dad so far. It's something that I looked forward to for a long time, and now that it's here, I just can't even explain. I'm looking forward to improving myself and bringing the best energy possible, and it's really given me that extra motivation that I feel that I need to get to the next level in my own life. I now understand what it means to put somebody wholeheartedly before yourself, and it's something that I think brings a lot of purpose to my life and to a lot of other people out there. So if you're somebody that's watching this, a new mom or a dad, and you connect with this, or you are an experienced mom or dad and have some tips for me and my wife as we continue this journey into parenthood, I look forward to connecting with you and sharing all the challenges, experiences, and lessons that I'm learning throughout my new life as a dad.